right. So here we are. We'd like to welcome everybody to the Intern Whisperer Live, the show all about the future of innovation in industries, entrepreneurial stories, inspiring leaders, and of course, internships. Reminder, you can always listen to us live on the air. The phone number is 407-582-2906. And you can also chat with us online through Intern Pursuit Facebook Live Chat.
Coming up in this episode of the Intern Whisperer Wildcard Conversation, the future of sustainable fashion and retail industry. Students want to work with one of our great employers or with Intern Pursuit? Go to internpursuit.tech and create your free profile to be matched. We invite employers of all types and sizes to be part of our Early Adopter Beta program. Early adopter employers receive special pricing until December 2019. If you want to learn more, shoot us an email at info@internpursuit.tech.
So you can find Intern Pursuit on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And you can find our game on Facebook and Twitter, and the website for the game is internpursuit.games. And again, if you follow us on Facebook, you follow the Intern Pursuit, you can listen to us live, you'll get notifications, and you can also listen to us live on Valencia College Radio. And all you have to do is download the app on the Google Play Store and search for Valencia College. You'll always have all of the great radio shows from Valencia College with you. Look for us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, Podbean, and the podcast channels. And you can listen to us live again, 407-582-2906, and chat with us online through Intern Pursuit's Facebook Live Chat.
Orlando Devs is one of our patrons. They are a community of software developers in Orlando, Florida. Whether you love writing code or just getting started, you are welcome here. Their website is orlandodevs.com. Thank you, Orlando Devs, for being a patron of the Intern Whisperer.
All right. So, the future of sustainable fashion and the retail industry. We went to the streets as part of the Intern Pursuit crew. We wanted to be able to find out, can you get an interview-ready fashion outfit for $20 or $40? And how could you do that? Through sustainable fashion, going to those great stores where you can go to resale stores like Goodwill. Well, we took our crew of fashion models and also our 3 women, 3 men. And we also want to thank Landon Connor. He was our photographer. You can check out his fantastic photos. They're going to be going out on our social feed, along with a video that Corey Perry did. You're going to be finding that on our YouTube and our Facebook channels. He was our summer video intern to see what that shopping expedition was like. So before we get ready, we're going to do an interview with Kim Pranowitz and Natalie Maldonado, who are both with Goodwill Industries. And just check in on our conversation, and you'll learn a lot about Goodwill and all of the good stuff that they do. So, ladies, thank you for being here today. This has been so awesome to be at Goodwill Industries. And I'd love for you to share your name, what your title is. We're here doing our photo shoot to show how people can find sustainable clothing on a $20 interview budget as well as on a $40 budget. This has just been an amazing experience for our models, and I'd just like you to share a little bit about Goodwill Industries, what they do, and then we'll go into, in each of your roles, and then we'll go into actually some questions. Future of retail and future of fashion.
Well, I'm Kim Pranowitz, and I'm the Senior Director of Marketing for Goodwill Industries of Central Florida.
And my name is Natalie. I'm the Operations Manager of the South OBT location for Goodwill.
Thank you, guys. Now, why don't we just talk a little bit about what is Goodwill, because I know that there's a lot of perceptions out there, and let's go ahead and dispel those. Some people think that oh, it's a nonprofit and it's not there to help others, but it actually is. So let's talk about that.
Oh, we'd be happy to talk about that. Well, Goodwill of Central Florida has been here for 60 years. We're celebrating our 60th anniversary. And we like to say we're building lives that work. How that works is you donate, you shop, that equals jobs. And what that means is for everything you donate, we consider a precious resource to us. When that is sold in our 29 retail stores in Central Florida, we serve 6 counties, then those dollars all go to job programs, job training, everything from how do I do my resume to how do I get on a computer to do my resume, to job skills that will help not only the unemployed, but the underemployed wanting to go to the next step.
Yep, thank you. And so, Natalie, what is it that you do here in the store? You have the big store here.
Oh yeah, so we're at the headquarters right now. So a lot of the items, like she was saying, anything that a person purchases, we do something called Change Roundup. So all of those donations, say if your total for your charge is $6.50, rounding up would mean rounding up to the next dollar, $7. So that 50 cents is going towards either ebooks or our veterans program or one of the programs to helping people get jobs. And then we have our Job Connection Center next door, which helps people interview as well. So we set them up with jobs. We have other locations that will come here, and then they'll have their moment where they're able to get placed somewhere. And then me, as far as the store goes, I run the logistics, the finances, and stuff like that. So just making sure our store location runs properly.
I've taken a tour of this place, and it's just amazing to be able to see that people are able to certainly get jobs, but the amount of donations that come in and how it is actually distributed across, not just in the stores, but to other third world countries where it's helping so many people. I think that's amazing.
We get a lot of people that buy by the loads, like loads and loads of clothing, and then they have families who have shops in Haiti and in Cuba and wherever it is, and then they'll buy by the bulk, and then they'll ship it over there, and their families are able to thrive and provide for their families over there. So it's not just local, it goes far beyond what people would expect.
Yeah.
And that's part of our sustainability. We make use of all of our resources.
Everything.
So once it comes to our stores, if for some reason it doesn't sell, it does have a market with possibly the families in other countries or folks that are starting a business where they resell. It really, truly goes very far. And beyond to that, we take out millions of pounds out of the landfill every year.
It's all about recycling, I would say, yeah. We do have a lot of vendors that come to our store location that are sometimes here from literally 9 o'clock in the morning all the way till 8 p.m. They are just loading, and then they buy and resell, and they're able to make a big profit as well. And that's helping, their
And
families.
it helps the whole economy.
Yeah, it really does.
It truly is the circular economy that we speak of.
Yep. And I actually knew that to be true. And so when people had said some things, and I don't think that we should shy away from it, I actually think this is the perfect opportunity to dispel myths or whatever the hearsay is out there. And I went, no, are you kidding? They do so much in the community. You're focusing on the wrong thing. So thank you for bringing clarity to that. All right, so let's go and talk about the future of retail. Now, what I find, this is the way I like to shop, I like to go into a store, be able to touch it, feel it, have it on my body, try it on. I do not like to order online and then have to ship it back.
Size, it won't fit right. It looks always great on a mannequin or on a picture, and then the moment you try it, it doesn't fit in all the right places.
Yeah.
It's better to try it.
So what do you think the future of retail looks like? Do you see that coming into the store is going to be the way it will still trend 10, 20 years out from now?
Yeah, I would say no matter what period of time you are in, there's nothing better than having something on you, like trying the actual jacket on. There's no feeling, like there's a certain type of joy or feeling when you find the right thing that actually fits right.
Because it actually makes us feel good on the inside. It has to release endorphins, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You find the right
so.
pair of shoes, my God,
Yes.
everything, you forget about everything else. You got the right pair of shoes. You're good.
Yeah, I agree. So what about you, Kim?
Well, I would totally agree with what she had to say. I would also say that online shopping absolutely complements the in-store experience. We know a lot of folks that will look at shopgoodwill.com or Good Finds Central Florida, which is goodfindcfl.com. take a look at the merchandise they purchase there, then they want more. So they'll come into the stores and shop, or vice versa.
You know what I like about going to Goodwill also is that at the Halloween time, I can find outfits that I might want to dress up in. So one year I was like the Good Witch from The Wizard of Oz, and I found the perfect dress for it at just the right price, and I didn't have to go and pay, you know, a ton of money for
And
it.
the crazy thing is, around Halloween we have our lookbook, which we're able to help people create Halloween outfits. But you get different versions. You can be the creepy witch, you can be the sassy, like glamorous witch. We've had every different version, so everyone is guaranteed to have their own personalized look. And wherever you walk in, you don't have to worry about somebody wearing the same thing as you. So that's
Yep.
cool. Yeah.
I
Well, and
agree.
the other thing with Halloween this year, we're partnering with the Addams Family movie that's coming out in November. So we're very excited. Just had a great look last week at some of the stuff that's coming our way. So we're pretty excited about that. So definitely be listening out there in the airwaves. Goodwill's going to be doing some things that are very special.
And you save so much more.
Oh
You save
my
so
God.
much
Oh my
more shopping at Goodwill, getting all your accessories. We had one of the witch outfits that, speaking of that, from last year, I believe it was on Fox 35 or Western News, one of them. The whole entire look was less than like $40. She had high heels, stockings, earrings, hat, everything.
Amazing.
$40.
Right, it's for every budget, honestly,
Yeah.
that you can get. So we can help you with your do-it-yourself looks, or we actually have looks that we'll put together for you.
So
here.
styling.
Yeah.
We get a
We
stylist.
They're called
Absolutely.
Halloween helpers. They're at every single location. Yeah.
That's cool. That's really good. So in the background, what people might be able to hear is our models. And so they've just finished doing a photo shoot we did where the college-age students are here to show that they can shop on this budget of either $20 or $40. And so I want our listeners to know they need to go to our Instagram to be able to see those pictures. And also, we're going to be sharing these with you guys at Goodwill. So
We'd be happy to put them on our website as well.
Yep, that's cool. So what about fashion? Anything else that you want to throw into the what does the future of fashion look like 10, 20 years out?
Well, I noticed that. Well, I think we were mentioning that earlier. I noticed that fashion kind of rotates over time.
Generational, yeah.
And so I noticed that as of recently, the 80s and 90s styles starting to come back in. You're getting more
Yeah.
high-waisted jeans. You're getting more of that fluorescent kind of 80s pop of color. Like, so I noticed it just.
Do you see shoulder pads coming back?
I have. I had a customer that I was helping the other day. She wanted high-waisted pants, and specifically, she was looking for a blazer with with the shoulder pads
Shoulder
on
pads.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Well, additionally, sustainability is going to be increasingly important with clothing, because clothing, believe it or not, textiles are a huge, huge problem in all of the landfills, especially here locally.
So much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that being said, Goodwill is a good way to donate your clothes, keep them out of the landfill, and you might still have some of those 80s shoulder pad jackets in your closet that might be totally in fashion right now.
yeah.
I agree. And I've seen more of a trend to go towards materials that are like cotton and wool, things that are more natural instead of the synthetics. So the synthetics, just so our listeners are paying attention, those are made out of like plastics. So not good for the environment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Well, ladies, I really appreciate your time and the opportunity to come and partner with you guys. You're going to be able to see this episode coming out really soon. It should be in 2 weeks. So we're going to be weaving it through and using your contributions to the story. So thank you.
Thank you.
The fashion industry is enormous. If each one of the 7.5 billion people on Earth owned only one pair of pants and one shirt, that would make 15 billion items of clothing.
$1.7 trillion is the value of the apparel and footwear market. That's roughly the same as the GDP of Canada. 150 billion garments per year are produced in the global fashion industry, which means about 20 items per person. 30% of clothes is never sold. Another third only leaves the shops with a discount. And 232,000 people attend New York Fashion Week per year. $20 million are funneled into the New York City economy during Fashion Week.
With all this money spent on clothing, what happens to the clothes that are not bought or we throw away?
So that's a really good question. So ladies, when you have clothing, what do you do with your clothing that you don't want to keep anymore?
I either try to give it to my friends first. They sift through. After that, I take it to a secondhand shop and try to,
Donate
not gonna
it?
lie, try to get money.
Okay,
And
so
then-
resell.
Yeah. And then after that, ideally, if I can, I'll take it to a women's shelter. Most of the times it does end up just in my room, but it always ends up in a shelter donation center.
That's great. What do you do, Sydney?
I try to find, those bins for the donation bins that are in the parking lots
Mm-hmm.
of places. I go put it there.
Okay, so I do kind of a mix of what you both are saying. I don't try to resell it. I actually figure it's going to go on to somebody that's in real need of it. But I have been in that place where, like garage sales or whatever, of course, you want to be able to make some money on it.
Yeah, I'm a college student.
Yeah, and you are a college student. I do agree. So I think it's really healthy for us to be able to see that we can repurpose it. What makes my heart sad is when people actually throw it in the trash. And there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with
It's
it.
so much more you can do before throwing in trash. It's just laziness.
Yeah.
It's really this what it
So
is.
we did this whole thing as an experiment to be able to see, can anybody go shopping for $20 at Goodwill? And all of the models picked out 2 outfits, one that was more of a traditional look and then one that was more contemporary look. And I know that up on the screen we're sharing some of those pictures, but there's going to be a lot of those pictures coming out really soon in our social feed. What I hope that our listeners are able to see is that that's how we have sustainable clothing, and we can repurpose it in our own community, certainly donate it and get it out of the landfills.
Yes.
It's really, to me, it's really tragic because some of those fabrics are made out of synthetic materials and they can last forever. So that leads us into the next question of, sustainable fashion and looking at the fabrics that they use. There's 3 pillars that are a part of the sustainable fashion industry, and it takes into account the earth and life and how we're actually taking care of our planet, but taking care of the things that we're wearing. Under the accordance of sustainable, recycled clothing will uphold those 3 principles, and it's environment and the environment. So it's reduce, reuse, and recycle. And if we remember those things, it really does impact our economics, our ecology, and just the social equity that we have here. So sustainable fashion, we've seen it talked about as fast fashion and also slow fashion. Have you ladies ever heard of that?
Yes.
Sydney, what do you think slow fashion is?
Slow fashion might be things that are better quality clothes made with more expensive fabrics.
By hand, right? Because
Yeah.
it takes more time
Right.
to prepare them. What about you, Miranda? Fast fashion.
I feel like fast fashion is something you can get very quick. I mean, clearly with the name fast fashion.
Yeah.
However, there are some stores that have the basics and they're very cheap.
Yeah.
For example, Forever 21, I can find a quick pair of leggings if I need it. If I need
Hey, I
a
think
crunch
they
for
went bankrupt
$4.
right away.
They
Yeah.
did, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
So
sad.
they're pretty much gone.
Yeah,
It's
I
terrible.
but they're a pretty good example of that, or were a good
Walmart,
example of fast
Some of the
fashion.
things that are at Walmart, the fabrics are very
Yeah.
cheaply made.
Some of their stuff is expensive at Walmart.
Well, it depends on what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
It depends on what your interpretation
Yeah.
of expensive is, for the most part. But fast fashion is made around new products that are cheaply made, that they're assembled in fast places. Like they'll send it out to like
Right.
stuff you get from China. I'm not saying anything about China, but just saying that it is there. So that's really an interesting perception. We haven't ever thought about fashion being something that's fast, where you
Yeah.
just pick up and go. But I really can appreciate where slow fashion, the quality, the craftsmanship, the handicraft that goes into it, really makes it very, very valuable. Let's take a real quick break, and we're going to go ahead and do our second patron announcement. Miranda?
Starter Studio is a pioneering hub for innovative and tech-enabled entrepreneurs that empowers and provides resources for entrepreneurs, creatives, and innovators to begin, grow, and flourish in Florida. Through community education programs, accelerators, funding, and collaborative work spaces, Starter Studio fosters a community serving as a platform for the ideas of the future. Their website is www.starterstudio.org. Thank you, Starter Studio, for being a patron of the Intern Whisperer Live.
All right. So, the future of fashion. Now, one of the most interesting things as we go into our second segment is we're going to look at all of the materials, natural fibers and things that are in our environment that are being used to create our clothing. So, new ways to make leather. I found this really interesting. It's made out of collagen. It's a synthetic biology that's growing at a very rapid rate. And as a result, the New York-based Modern Meadow Company is exploring the possibilities of using this in the fashion industry. So it's a biofabricated leather alternative, and the company is Zoa. And it's a protein that comes from a collagen. The main component of this natural leather is that protein, and it's grown in a lab from animal-free collagen derived from yeast. You know, so think
That's
about yeast like in your breads, and how it's used to, you know, you put a little water on it, sugar, and it begins to expand and grow. So I'm thinking that's along the lines of what they're doing there in those labs. But that's pretty interesting here, and they can create something that looks like leather, you know? The next thing that they had was a fungi, and it's a San Francisco-based MycoWorks. They've been exploring the possibilities of creating sustainable materials using a fungi. These are all really long science words, in my opinion. So it's mycelium, a mushroom root material, which is grown with agricultural byproducts and custom engineered in a lab using carbon negative processes. This is like rocket science, creating our clothing. And so it's not what you think of in typical terms as like cotton. Oh, my fabric was made, or my clothing was made from cotton. You know, or what are some of the other fabrics that we think about? Leather, right?
Silk.
Which we were just talking
Silk.
about. Silk. Which comes from silkworms.
A worm.
Yeah. So that's, I think, pretty interesting how they're growing products that they can create fabric for us. But what if we didn't have those types of opportunities available where they could grow it in a lab? So we go and we look at what are they doing, taking it straight from the ground. Grassroots. So they're an interesting project by the artist Diana Scherer called Interwoven explores the fabrication of materials using living plant networks, which could be used to construct garments out for the future. She's developed a process which manipulates oat and wheat plant roots to grow intricate lace-like textile materials, and she buries the templates in the soil, and that acts as a mold, which then can be manipulated and channel the plant's root systems to reveal a woven structure that's constructed from geometrics and delicate motifs, and it looks like lace. I think that's like, you think about when you pull like those potatoes or carrots out of the ground and you think about the roots, doesn't it kind of look like a lace?
Yeah, like a weaving type thing.
I think that's amazing. So I've seen a lot of plants being pulled out of the ground, and they have a very intricate root system. And I'm wondering, how are they making that something that would be, it doesn't dissolve, right? You think about plant life, it can fall apart. It will decay. So there's going to have to be a way that they could keep that in its natural state.
Yeah.
And I'm going, is that like plastic that's over? Then does that defeat the purpose?
Right. It has to be. We can't even use plastic straws. So why would they be using plastic for these clothes?
Yeah, but I perhaps it's because I just needed to do a little bit more research on this. That would be my answer on that. The next one, excuse me, is cow manure. And that one, I sat there and went, okay, wearing clothes made out of manure, I don't know about that one.
Yeah. It doesn't surprise me, though, because in cosmetics, some mascaras, they use...
I know they use charcoal.
Yeah. I don't know. I've just heard that some mascaras have something from a bat that I don't know if I should say.
Manure.
Yeah, pretty
Manure
much.
is the polite term.
Yes.
We'll stick with that one, is what you're saying. So I would have to know what that product is because I definitely wouldn't want to put that on my body. But anyway, so in the circular economy model, nothing is considered waste. So if you think about the people that are in the third world countries, you know, they don't have a lot of products around them like we do. So they're using other products, and manure is one of them. So in the Netherlands, a company called Inspirdia has developed a method called Mestic that uses cow manure to produce new textiles. The process, they process it, and it enables cellulose to be extracted from manure to produce two materials, viscose and cellulose acetate. And I guess I'll put it to us this way. When we think about how our water is purified, we're constantly drinking water that's gone through all types of filtrations to make it so that we can digest it, right? So I believe that's really what they're saying, is that they've taken whatever these products are that are usually something that's, you know, a byproduct of, in this case, cow manure, and they've purified it in such a way that we can actually reuse it.
Mm-hmm.
So the manure is separated. It's processed in a lab to extract the pure cellulose, and then further processed to create, as I said, this viscose, all a bunch of really nice fancy science words that we have here, and then it's turned into textiles. Now, one of the times I saw at I think it was the Emmys or the Oscars, there was an actress that went up to receive her award, and she took lots of plastic credit cards. They put them all together with little rings and made it into a dress. And there's this place where people have taken those types of recycled products to make clothing out of them.
Yeah.
And that's pretty interesting. Kind of like a chainmail, like, you know, the knights of the olden times. The last one that I had here was how the materials, they were transforming materials into clothing using robots that could sew and cut fabric. They're using AI algorithms to predict style trends. And last week, our guest, Camilla Olson, she talked about how they use AI to actually determine the best fit of clothing for our bodies, and they're going to be getting something out there for men. So that company, Savitude, she's right there using AI to improve that user experience where we don't have to send clothing back. So we see all of this type of technology coming into either the clothing that we're wearing or how we're actually engaging with fashion. And they're even collecting data to be able to make it more sophisticated, to reshape how the company brands are approaching product design and development, with a focus on predicting what customers will want to wear next. I see that whenever I buy something. Do you guys, when you click on an ad, do you see it show up in your social feeds or on the
Yes.
side of your
all the
emails?
time.
Yeah, that's really kind of, I don't know, kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't
It
like
travels with you. So I don't know if it's just like your browser situation that is allowing them to do
I
it.
think it also has to do with the microphone, too. In your phone.
I've heard that. I don't know if
I
it's
don't know
true.
if I
I'm not
believe that
talking.
one.
Yeah.
It's just what I'm clicking on.
Yeah,
It's-
clicking.
Whenever my dad would talk about, example, I believe he once said he needed a new phone. Just talking to my mom, he never Googled anything. Later that night, it popped up. New phones, an ad, and everything. And it's happened on numerous occasions where he won't Google something, but he'll talk about it, and it'll pop up.
Okay, that's really creepy.
Yeah.
I've had other friends tell me about that
Yeah.
happening.
I think it's true. However, I feel like I Google everything.
Does he have an iPhone?
He had a Samsung. My mom made him switch because she thought Samsungs were the issue. But now he has an iPhone. I haven't gotten any updates, but yeah.
Well, we can see that that's certainly coming into play with how we purchase
For sure.
anything that we're interested in, whether it's fashion-oriented, makeup, like you were mentioning, or even just your, everyday products that you might
Yeah.
use in the house. So AI has become the designer. And Google has already tested the waters of using AI fashion with a project called Muse. Muse, M-U-Z-E. It's an experiment deployed in partnership with a German fashion platform, Zalando. They trained a neural network to understand the colors, the textures, the style preferences, and other aesthetic parameters that were derived from Google's Fashion Trends report. I didn't even know there was a fashion trend report.
I don't know how they get those. You know how they have like fashion forecasters or like
Yeah.
trends? How do they know? Like, are they just watching one person and saying,
No.
okay, this is going to hit? Or I don't know what they're doing.
Well, they're tracking all of the purchases that we make.
Okay,
And
that makes
remember,
sense.
everything has a code on it, right? Mm-hmm. And so they're able to tie that code to a particular designer, or it's always tied to those type of logistics of how you're going to track any piece of data that you want to follow. They would know that black is like we're all wearing black in here, right? So black is a color that's very popular, and that helps when they're creating outfits. Black is a color we need to make sure, because 80% of the women seem to pick black.
Yeah.
So that's really helpful for them to know.
I think it's funny with the fashion trends. Back when I used to go thrifting when I was younger too, I still do now, but something I've noticed is back then when you wanted something more high-waisted, you can find it all the time. However, now it's all low-rise jeans, because those are the ones people are donating. Because people tend to donate older items, and now the low-rise jeans are all in Goodwill. And all the high-waisted stuff is all in
Is
the
what
mainstream.
people are buying now.
True. That is
Well, we're going to have to be wrapping up our show. I know that this is really short. We're going to be thanking Q, our station manager. He helped us out here again today, so thank you, Q. And let's do our real quick shout-out. So, Miranda, you go first.
Family, friends, I love you, and I hope you're having a wonderful day.
I hope they're wearing slow fashion.
Yeah.
Sydney?
I have the same one. Hey, people that I love.
And we're thanking our 2 video guys in the
Thanks,
background.
guys.
Yes. Okay, and my thanks goes out to everybody that is listening to our show and also following along with us. And we look forward to, and a special shout out to Charles, who created our clips.
Great music. This
Yeah.
music sounds really
Yeah,
good.
so he's going to be doing a little bit of editing, I'm pretty sure, to make all of my little boo-boos when I was talking, make it perfect for the podcast. I'm not even going to say that, too, so he gets a shout-out. All right, so thank you to all of our listeners, and we are signing off for the evening.